Hello there, YouTube. I recently took part in a group buy to purchase the Higdonion Urban Cage for the FJ-09 aka MT-09 tracer. So I decided shortly after just opening the top end of this box, which just came from UPS a couple days ago, that you guys might appreciate to see an unboxing and installation of this on the tracer. So here goes. All I've done so far is slide open the packing tape on the top end of the box, haven't touched anything else. So, white box, opening her up, very first thing that's inside is this piece of paper with some basic instructions. Contents includes right and left side cages, skid plate, 1/2" hardware silver for attaching the skid, an M10 by 1.25 by 50 hardware black replacement for the engine bolts. And the directions say, one side at a time, remove the front 2 engine bolts from the frame. Do not remove all 4 at the same time. Replace them with the correct side cage and new bolts. Leave them loose. Then attach the skid plate loosely. Tighten the skid plate first, then tighten the engine bolts. Contact us with any issues or questions. Email and phone number. Alright, well, with that, those instructions seem pretty simple, so hopefully this installation goes really quickly. And so I'm going to unbox this real fast. So, the cages are packed in this brown paper. So I'm going to unwrap and place it on my garage and then set them here to see what I've got. Okay, so then they're also inside this styrofoamy wrap stuff. And looks like the very first thing on top is the skid plate. And what you can see here, I assume, is the drain hole cutout for the oil pan drain. So that is one reason I opted for this particular cage, is ease to change the oil on the 2015 oil pan design, and also protection from impacts to the oil pan. So the paint looks very good. The welds, this is just black powder coat. He does offer other colors, but I just went with the black powder coating. It looks very evenly finished and no scratches anywhere that I see. A very nice job. All the welds look very nice on this. I'd say a great first impression with the skid plate. Okay, moving on. I'm going to pull out the next piece in here. This is obviously, based on the bulk, one of these side cages. Packaging is very thorough on this, obviously. Alright, see, there is our side cage. Once again, the paint looks great. The welds look very nice and professionally done. Definitely looks like a quality made product. Final side cage. And as would be expected, the finish is identical. The paint is well coated, no spots, no scratches. Welds look very nice. There are some particular welds on here where admittedly it's a very hard angle to weld at. And you can see a little bit of unevenness in that area, but given that these are produced by hand, I'm gonna say that he did a very good job, and that the weld is definitely going to be strong enough to protect the bike, and it looks very nice as well. So happy so far. Ziploc baggie full of hardware. Alright, well, it looks like we can get to work on installation now. So we'll get that started because that is what is included in the box. So here's the hardware provided to us by Higdonion. The silver hardware, he says, is for the skid plate. So you've got 4 nuts and 4 locking washers. So as you can see, that nut has that purple Loctite in it to lock it in place. You've got these 4 hex head bolts, which are 8mm hex head. It's the same as the style of bolt that is coming out, so hopefully we'll only need an 8mm hex to complete this job. These bolts are just going to be a little bit longer to support installation of the cage. And then these plastic covers so that you can't see the bolt and just to give it a finished look. And that's all the hardware that comes with it, so hopefully it'll be very simple to install. Just to err on the side of caution, I put my floor jack just underneath the oil pan and just lightly up against it. So it's not actually putting any weight on the engine. It's not jacking the bike up in any way. It's just sitting there right beneath the oil pan just as a precaution, just in case, in case loosening 1 or 2 of the bolts on one side at a time for the engine mounting bolts as I install the left and right side Higdonion cages. The engine jack is just a precaution. Okie doke. My jack is just loosely installed here as a just in case precaution. I'm going to loosen my engine mounting bolts and get ready to install the cages. Okay, they're both loose before I take either of them out. Hey, Brooklyn.
I was gonna get my bike.
Your bicycle, cool. I'm assuming that we should reuse the washers, so that's what I'm going to do. Doesn't really say for sure, but I would assume that it would make sense that we would want the washers on there. So, I shall. Except the washers don't fit in the holes, so maybe I should use the washer here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, both are installed hand tight, but I haven't torqued them with a wrench yet. And so it says, one side at a time, remove the front 2 engine bolts from the frame. Do not remove all 4 at the same time. Replace them with the correct side cage, and new bolts leave loose. So I'm leaving them loose, hand tight right now. I can easily loosen them up with turn if I need to. So now I will move to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, take out the bolt from the other side. One's loose. 2's loose. Okay. Same as on the other side. Drop these bolts in. Use the washers from the original bolts. It's probably optional, but I'm going to do that. Just that. Maybe I should do the back one first, because it might be a little bit easier to get started. That started, and washer is there. Okie dokie. They're both loosely installed, hand tight. That was easy. I've got the skid plate loosely hanging with the bolts in, but none of the nuts in at the moment. You can see over here, here's one of the front bolts, here's the other front bolt. I guess it's kind of up to you which orientation you want the bolt nut to be. If you want the bolt on the inside facing outward in the nut, or vice versa. Whatever way you think is easiest to access it. The instructions don't really specify. It just says attach the skid plate loosely, then tighten the skid plate bolts first, then tighten the engine bolts. There also is not a torque spec listed for these bolts. Now they do use locking lock nut type washers, or Loctite style washers. I will probably just duplicate the same torque values for the engine bolts that as the skid plate bolts. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, but I'll get the nuts on first. So let's see here a moment. So if I put these nuts on the front two loosely, one of the back ones came out just now, so Okay, that's loosely installed. Okay, loosely installed. And loosely installed back there. And a little bit hard to access these back ones compared to the front, but hopefully once they're on I won't have to bother with them again. Alright, they're all loosely installed, so I guess it's time to go get a wrench and tighten them up. So what's your name?
Brooklyn.
What kind of sockets do you need to use?
2 million in sockets.
Two 19mm sockets, and those will help tighten the skid plate bolts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Alrighty, that sounds awesome to me. Okay, go back here. Alright, there is my wrench and my breaker bar, and both have a 19mm socket on them. And I'm going to start tightening them up.
I actually saw a dog toy in your house.
A dog in my house?
No, a dog toy.
A dog toy?
Yeah.
When were you in my house?
Well, when I was seeing your beer and dragon, I saw it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so to summarize, I torqued the engine mounting bolts to 33 foot-pounds as specified in the FJ-09 owner's manual, and then I installed the plugs provided by Higdonion for installation of these cages. These plugs are a pretty tight fit. I lubricated them with a little WD-40 to help get them pushed in there, otherwise they're kind of hard. Your skid plate bolts, both the bolt and the nut, are 19mm. You are going to need a combination wrench because getting two sockets is not going to work, especially on the rear right side of the bike near the oxygen sensor and the exhaust. My 19mm combination wrench has wandered off, so I need to locate that. If you're like me and you can't find your 19mm, a 3/4 wrench will probably do the job, but that's what I used, but do that at your own risk. Don't round out one of the bolts, of course. Overall, very happy with installation of the cages. Very easy to do and should protect the bike very well in the event of a tip over. I'm not going to post any of the pictures in this video because they're not mine to share, but if you go on FJ-09.org and look up Red FJ-9er, he actually had a crash with this particular Higdonion Urban Cage, and his engine was very well protected thanks to these cages. So I'm confident that if this bike goes down, the engine at least ought to be very well protected as well. So happy. Just to say that I was not paid to do this review in any way. I was not asked to do it, just doing it for the benefit of anyone out there that may be curious or thinking about installing these. I did participate in the group buy through the FJ-09 forum, and so because of the group buy and the number of people, I got $125 off on this purchase. So normal price for these cages is $399, $400 plus $50 shipping. So minus $125 for a group buy discount. So my total expenditure was $325 delivered to my door. So thank you, Higdonion, for offering the group buy and for delivering a quality cage. For any of you out there who are interested in Higdonion cages, but you want more protection, say for your exhaust, or you're concerned about ground clearance for the type of riding you do, he does offer a trail cage which has more ground clearance and better protection for the exhaust. But in my opinion, based on the pictures I was seeing online, it was going to make accessing things like the oil filter and potential coolant hoses maybe a little bit more difficult. For the type of riding that we do, the urban cage I think works best. But if you like the trail cage, the installation should be very similar, I would imagine. So anyway, hope you liked the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, or if you hated it, give me a thumbs down, and subscribe for more FJ-09 content. Have a good one.